Good morning, good people. It is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. It's Wake Up with RayGQue, presented by Bets TV. Y'all know what it is, man. You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to Wake Up with RayGQue show, subscribe to the Bets TV YouTube channel, and then make sure you check out besttv.com. Check out all the dope lineup underneath the network. But yo, I think we got the camera issues fixed today. And look, we've got a special guest in the building. Look who it is.
Come on, ain't no special guest.
Up,
I know I couldn't make it yesterday, but I'm back.
He's back. Things happen. Things happen in life, and sometimes you gotta step away for a quick minute. But Jay, I think he just wanted to give me the platform to get all of my Cowboys frustration out yesterday. But we got that out of the way. Jay, it's good to have you back, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to be back. We got a big show today, talking rivalry week, talking some MVP or some Super Bowl odds, maybe some MVP. I'm pumped. LeBron got his suspension.
Bro.
Happy to see that.
Yeah.
He's not playing in the Garden tonight. Hopefully his pocket's hurt. We'll see.
I didn't talk about that yesterday, but real quick before we get in the show, did you think it was intentional or not? I saw a bunch of angles, man.
Come on. It looked okay. If he elbowed him, I'd be like, maybe incidental. But when you see the angle of him turning around and like spinning back fisting Isaiah Stewart in the face, you're like, come on, bro. And then on top of that, he got suspended for less games than Stewart.
Well, Stewart
I don't really agree with that, but
Stewart was going crazy. Stewart was, for those of y'all who don't know, Detroit Pistons, Los Angeles Lakers. I had the LeBron jersey on yesterday. Free throw shot, LeBron spins, and literally MMA back fists. Was it not Evan Stewart?
Isaiah
Stewart right in the face. And then like this melee broke out. It looked like, I saw somebody tweet, Isaiah Stewart looked like Najee Harris on 3-yard runs, just going through the crowd, the dreads. And he was suspended 2 games. LeBron suspended 1. So we don't get him versus the Knicks in the Garden tonight. I don't know how many times LeBron has been suspended in his career. I don't recall him ever really being this may be the first. Is this the first time he's ever been suspended?
I doubt it's the first, but I'm sure there's some times where he could have got suspended, but because honestly, it's sad when I'm legitimately questioning, is he going to get suspended? Is the NBA going to do the right thing and actually suspend him? Because Jokic got suspended for something that was kind of a lot less.
Yeah.
But Ray, let me ask you the obvious question. Regardless of who the man was, if you're playing a game and someone's spinning back fists you in the face, are you not going to try and fight him?
Oh, yeah, we finna scrap, bro. Like, that's just, I literally right now, I shit you not. When I was in high school, man, it was a first-round playoff game. I played ball in Las Vegas. So one of the premier high school teams that you probably all have heard about, Bishop Gorman. This was before Bishop Gorman became like, they were right on the cusp of national power. If you go on YouTube right now and type in Cheyenne High School football fight, in 2003, DeMarco Murray, the former or at that point in time, we didn't know, but ends up being the all-pro running back for the Dallas Cowboys. We beat Bishop Gorman in the first round of the playoffs. That team had DeMarco Murray as their starting running back. We're shaking hands at the end of the game, and he spits in our running back's face, and all of a sudden, all hell broke out. It was on ESPN, high school football fight in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was all of us. Just, you can Google it and YouTube it right now, but yeah, bro, if someone spits in your face, if someone slaps you, punches you intentionally, you're gonna shoot the 5. But that's not, some people may be like, I'll be the bigger man, walk away. I'm not the bigger man. I'm with all the smoke. I want the drama. So if that would have happened to me, it was, dude was bloody. We finna fight, man. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah,
man.
He was leaking all over the court. And people are saying that he shouldn't have been suspended. Like,
did you see this comment? Bro wanted his own Netflix documentary.
Straight up.
Love it, man. And I think it was the fact that he was so reactionary and so aggressive in trying to get LeBron is what made him get the 2 games opposed to the 1. Neither here nor there. We got a lot of football to get to. I got some questions to ask. I'm still not over this Dallas loss, man. This is still bothering me. We will briefly talk about the Monday Night Football matchup because, listen, we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a second, man. I'm glad y'all are all here. Good to see y'all in the comments. Let's get into the morning run.
Wake up! This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
All right, so 2 pieces of football-related news that I didn't talk about both come from the Denver Broncos. And we saw Courtland Sutton sign, I think it was a 3 or 4 year deal yesterday. And the day before, Tim Patrick, he got a 3 or 4 year deal as well. But Sutton and Tim Patrick are locked up. Oh, it's right there. It says 4 years, $61 million at the bottom of the damn. Listen, I'm like Ron Burgundy, bro. I'm just like looking at the camera. I am focused on the people. So Sutton signs a 4 year deal, and I believe Patrick was a 3 year deal with $20 million guaranteed, or it was $18 million guaranteed. All I know is
$18 million guaranteed, $30 million overall over 3 years.
My first initial thought when I saw this piece of news, and first when I saw Tim Patrick, the first thought was, oh, Courtland Sutton's gone. They locked up Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton's gone. Then you see the Courtland Sutton news, and all I'm thinking, 2 things cross my mind. One, Michael Gallup is going to get a bag from somebody. Michael Gallup is going to get paid. And I tweeted out during the game last night, Kansas City would really benefit from having a Mike Evans type wide receiver, who Mike Evans is one of the most underappreciated wide receivers probably in NFL history. This is going to be his 7th straight 1,000-yard season, like in a row from rookie on. I think it's going to be a 7th straight 1,000-yard season. He's got like 9-10 touchdowns on the year. Just he's consistently excellent. But I was like, Drake London or somebody like that would benefit Kansas City. What about Michael Gallup, man? I just think Gallup is going to get a bag this offseason. If Tim Patrick is commanding $20 million guaranteed, Michael Gallup is going to get paid. But this also is a very attractive landing spot for a free agent quarterback, a quarterback via trade, or a quarterback for the NFL draft. I mean, honestly, I keep going back and forth. I'm like, damn, pot calling the kettle black. The 2022 crop of quarterbacks are a hell of a lot better than people give them credit for. But still, even that, like I'm still on the fence on which ones are going to be good. Like, I don't know if it's Malik Willis. I'm not sure if it's Sam Howell. I have good confidence and faith in Matt Corral, but we're seeing Kenny Pickett and Carson Strong get these top-level considerations. This is just going to be a really good landing spot. With these 3 wide receivers locked up, with whatever they do with Noah Fant or Albert O, Javonte Williams, like the offensive skill position players in Denver are set. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, if I'm Russell Wilson, if I'm a young quarterback, you can't ask to be stepping in a better situation, at least skill position-wise, opposed to, let's say, I mean, Joe Burrow is probably the only guy that stepped in, and he didn't really step into a better situation, but he's got a great situation around him with those 3 wide receivers. Mac Jones in New England, terrible situation as far as pass catchers. Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, terrible. San Francisco will be okay. Will be very nice for Trey Lance when he takes over. Zach Wilson, terrible. So Denver's going to be a really good spot for some wide receivers, man. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a great core of pass catchers. You didn't even talk about Javonte Williams. You didn't even talk about Noah Fant. You didn't even talk about Albert O. Also, guys who are locked up. These 3 wide receivers are locked up, I believe, for the next 3 years. Did you?
Yeah, I did. But go ahead. Go ahead. I did.
Melvin Gordon going to be gone. Javonte Williams, Noah Fant, who I love. And then in the comments, Stone was talking about Judy's upside is capped. I honestly don't believe that. I think that Judy can still be the alpha in this offense. I'm not sure where the sentiment is with Courtland Sutton. He can be the alpha, although I think he's going to be more of the downfield threat. I think Judy's still going to be the chain mover that can get the majority of the yardage and have a larger market share than Courtland Sutton. But I'm just curious to see how Tim Patrick fills in, because now he's locked up. Before he was kind of the thorn in our side or the guy who filled in. And we're not even mentioning KJ Hamler, who's going to come back next season off of his torn ACL. Rookie second-round pick, I believe, from last season, who can blow the top off the defense. That is 4 really, really good weapons.
Yeah.
And the curious thing for me, and I'd love to ask this to you, Ray, now that Tim Patrick is locked up, what do they do with Hamler? Because we thought Hamler was going to be kind of that third option, but now with Tim Patrick being locked up, is it going to be more of Tim Patrick on the field and more of Judy and more of Sutton? Those are three big receivers. Do we see Judy kind of work the slot a little bit more, have Sutton and Patrick outside? Because Hamler still has to get his snaps because of what he can do with his speed.
I think Hamler fit in where he fits in. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what they want to do. They want to roll out, those two big body wide receivers in Patrick and Sutton, have Judy be that chain mover. All they're missing is a quarterback, man. If Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, it will be the best trio of wide receivers he's had since Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, and Randall Cobb. And definitely the best trio of wide receivers he's had over the last 5-6 years. Since that group in Green Bay broke up. Russell Wilson, if he goes there, it's a better wide receiver trio, and you add in the tight ends and the running back that he's ever had in his career. So, and I'm not sure about the cap situation. I know the cap is going up, but it seems like they're making a play for somebody, man. It seems like they're making a play, and it's almost like, damn, they probably should have taken that shot on Cam Newton. Who knows? I mean, maybe they should have taken that shot on Cam Newton, but just interesting news right there with those two Denver wide receivers. Also, bro, I honestly, I thought it was a joke or like a restructure. Like, what's this Taysom Hill thing? So Taysom Hill gets a 4-year extension. I just thought he signed a deal like a year ago, 2 years ago. So now it's a 4-year, $40 million contract as an H-back, and he can make up to $95 million if he starts at quarterback, $21.5 million guaranteed. What is going on? Like, honestly.
So the biggest thing with Taysom Hill, right, is that they keep restructuring his deal and they keep basically kicking the can on his money, right? So a couple years ago, they gave him like a first round tender, so no team could take him. Yeah. Obviously, no team's gonna give a first round pick for Taysom Hill. Then they had to restructure that deal, so he was owed $4 million, and they're very cap strapped, right? So they gave him, I think, 4 void years that accumulated up to $8.9 million on his current deal. So he had a base salary of $1 million, he had a signing bonus of about $6 million, roster bonus of like I think another $5 or $6 million. So he's making he's making dead cap is like $16 million this year, but base salary towards the cap is only $1 million because he keeps restructuring, right? Now he has this new extension, but they already had the void years of $8.9 million, so they have to clear that off. And if they don't clear it off with a new extension, they owe him that money, right? So they don't want to pay the $8.9 million to Taysom Hill to have him just leave and go somewhere else. So they restructure his contract. Now he's got this 4-year deal where we don't really fully understand the terms. We've been watching NFL contracts for a long time. $20 million realistically is going to come down to about 2 years guaranteed. And then after that, we'll kind of see what happens. But yeah, it was definitely odd, but it really just comes down to cap. How did they manage the cap? Every year, Mickey Loomis is what he does. He keeps restructuring the cap. I don't agree with it. I think at some point you have to just face facts that you messed up giving Taysom Hill a deal. But again, it depends on where they're at. They're kind of a quarterback away, but are they a quarterback away? That's the only reason why I'm not too sure how I feel about this deal overall. $20 million guaranteed is whatever, but
I don't care. Listen, you broke it down very well. I give you credit for explaining it in layman terms. I'm going to explain it in like real terms. That's some bullshit. I'm just going to tell you. The fact that Taysom Hill is making that much money to do a little bit of nothing makes absolutely no sense. None. I don't know what Sean Payton is doing. Taysom Hill is pulling off one of the greatest heists in NFL history right now because he's masquerading around as this dual threat Swiss Army knife, and he plays like, when does he even get in the game? What has he done? What has he deserved in order to receive so much money? He's done nothing, man.
I mean,
nothing.
He plays a lot.
Money Heist? Have you seen Money Heist on Netflix? Taysom Hill should be a guest.
Do you know how old he is?
Huh?
Do you know how old he is?
32.
Yeah, he's turning 32 next year, so he's going into his age 32 season.
This is. It's crazy, man. I'm with you. I'm pretty sure Taysom Hill has some blackmail on Sean Payton. That's why he keeps the fact that he keeps getting extended and getting any sort of restructuring of his money is wild. I mean, thank you, Lindsay. That's all I could say. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better and use better. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about Taysom Hill. We're moving on. Let's, Stephon Diggs, man. A lot of people, especially in the fantasy community, are like, when's Calvin Ridley coming back? Ridley. Ridley stepped away to take care of his mental health, and Stephon Diggs opened up yesterday about his mental health, talking about how he had to dig himself out of dark places and dark holes multiple times. He said when you put in a lot of work in what you do and invest in yourself and all things fall through, nobody cares about that. But when it goes right, it goes right. Saying that he had to take a step back from a previous tough love approach and showed love to Calvin when asked about a situation, saying, when you're in a bad headspace, you're not your best self and you ain't helping nobody, man. It's one of those things where, honestly, I haven't even had the conversation with league mates, with people who ask me advice, like with Calvin Ridley. I don't know what's going on as far as when he's going to return to the field, if he does. Most importantly, man, I tell this to my wife, I tell this to myself, I tell this to my friends, like, you got to take care of that. You know what I'm saying? You got to take time for you to relax, to kick back, to decompress, whatever it is that you do in order to help with that, whether that's workout, whether that's, have a drink at the end of the night, have a smoke, go on vacation, hang out with friends, play the video game, whatever you got to do to make sure that mentally you can be the best version of yourself. You got to take care of that. And as far as him putting up points for the Falcons, for him putting up points for your fantasy team, it's irrelevant, man. I don't know when we see Calvin Ridley, if we ever do. We all hope that a player of his skill set that we enjoy watching comes back to help entertain us. But if he doesn't, as long as Calvin Ridley is in the right headspace, then that's really all that's all that's important. That's all that matters. So I just wanted to touch on that. And everybody out there, take care of your mentals, man. Florida coach Dan Mullen was fired by Florida. It's crazy. He was just in the SEC title game not too long ago. Now he was fired. And it was the right decision. I mean, that Florida Gators, when they're celebrating in the locker room because they beat Samford on a come-from-behind victory, I honestly have no clue what conference Samford is in. I think they're an FCS school, but they're jumping around like they won the damn national title. Dan Mullen needed to go, so now you've got prominent jobs open at LSU, USC, Florida. It's going to be a coaching carousel in college football, and it's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. But we've got to talk about the Monday Night Football game. The Monday Night Football game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants. Tampa Bay won that matchup. I don't know what the final score was. What was it, 30-10? Brady was, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, ran the ball. Tom Brady's QB rushing over. This is why you don't ever touch Tom Brady's QB rushing numbers. You just don't know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to have 0 and then kneel down at the end and get you negative points. But he was fine. I don't think he was super sharp, but he didn't need to be. The Giants are just terrible. The Bucs dominated this from the opening snap. They drove the ball down the field. I think it was 8 plays, 75-yard drive for a touchdown in which they didn't have a third down at any point in time. The Giants couldn't get anything going on the ground. Saquon Barkley, you got to love Jason Garrett trying to slam Saquon Barkley up the middle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, even without Vita Vea. Still a very stout run defense. I think Barkley finished with 25 rushing yards in this one. The Giants' only points came after the Bucs tipped the ball up. Adoree Jackson picked it off and ran it back to like the 2-yard line. And then the points that ensued didn't even help us for fantasy because it was a damn touchdown pass to an offensive tackle. So thank you, Giants. Giants once again in prime time. I don't know who thinks this is a good idea to have the Giants playing either on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, but maybe we cannot do that again because nobody wants to see that pathetic product on the field. I thought it was hard being a Dallas Cowboys fan. I can only imagine how difficult it is being a fan of the Giants. This team is god-awful. Daniel Jones is a terrible quarterback. Jason Garrett is one of the worst play callers in the NFL. Joe Judge, I don't know who you are or why you're the head coach of that football team. Kenny Golladay, overpaid and terrible. Kadarius Toney, great talent, runs sideways way too much. Evan Ingram, where have you been? The Giants are a dumpster fire, and we were all subjected to see a pathetic display of football last night, and for that, I apologize. We will probably never talk about the Giants again. The only thing that I cared about in that matchup was the health and the safety of Saquon Barkley. Every time he got tackled, Jay, I had my fingers crossed. I had prayer candles lit. I had rosary beads on because I just needed him to get up. And there were a couple of times where I was like, Lord have mercy, hurt his ankle again. I don't know. He didn't look all the way 100%, but I think he made it out unscathed. There were a couple of times in the open field. Again, I am down on all knees, all fours, just praying to the heavens that Saquon Barkley got up. So I think he was fine. I have nothing else to say. I believe I was pretty scathing of the Giants. Please, do you have anything to add?
Tampa Bay covered. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. They covered at home. They're pretty good. And I think that they deserve to be Super Bowl favorites right now. You know, if they're
Tom Brady,
at home
man.
whole
Tom
time,
Brady, Gronk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Ronald Jones was running hard. Leonard Fournette's doing his thing. I mean, and Ndamukong Suh playing like a madman. They had Sean Murphy Bunting back, which definitely helped. Daniel Jones helped, but Sean Murphy Bunting did a good job in that matchup. Kenny Golladay, how much did they pay him in free agency?
I believe I was looking at it this morning. Actually, I believe it's like $41 million guaranteed, and he doesn't have an out until 2 years from now. Because I think, and even if they do get out of him, it's still like a $10 million cap hit or something like that. It's pretty wild how much they owe that guy. His roster bonus for the next 2 years is like $4.5 million.
Man, I mean,
they got to get rid of him.
Done? What can you? I don't care how much time it takes. Go look up Kenny Galladay's season stats. I just want to know what he's done. I know he's been hurt. I just want to know what he's done for 70, 90, however many $1 million he got his contract. What has Kenny Golladay done this season? Please, just
So he's played 7 games. Okay. Do you want to take any guesses, or do you want me to just tell you?
No. 7 games. I'll say 18 receptions, 329 yards.
Wow. 20 receptions, 322 yards.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you were very... And to your point, 0 touchdowns.
0. Yeah, you see I didn't even... I know he didn't score. Yeah, so, all right.
And he has one game where against New Orleans, he put up 116 yards. So almost, or actually half of his yards came in one game.
In one game, week 4 versus New Orleans, yeah. Wow. What were your thoughts on Saquon, man? How did he look, in your opinion?
He looked okay. The biggest thing for me is, like you said, he's healthy at least. But the problem is that every time he gets the ball, he's just getting decked. Like, every single time when he catches the ball on the sidelines, he's getting hit hard. He's got 2 or 3 guys trying to tackle him. And again, that's what it takes to tackle Saquon Barkley. But that's just not a good look. And then you talk about him getting slammed up the middle. I just don't like to see it. But I think to your point about Tom Brady, we need every quarterback under the age of 40 to go watch this game other than maybe Aaron Rodgers. Because you see the way he played this game. They played too high. And what did he do? He checked it down over and 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 methodically put the ball down the field and scored points. Not to say that it's easy, but it's not always that hard. And we've seen quarterbacks from Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. We talked about Dak Prescott yesterday. They keep trying to force the ball downfield when it's not open. You can get the ball to the running back. You can make plays. You can scheme these guys open. You can run a lot of tunnel screens like the Bucs did yesterday that were very effective. And I think you watch this game, and the Giants aren't the best defense, but they're also not a bad pass defense either.
The Giants were in it. What's crazy is the Giants were still in the game. Like, they were still in the game. It was 10-27, probably like towards the end of the third quarter, all the way through the fourth quarter. They were still in the game with the ball. How bad is Daniel Jones? They've got to go. Dude, Louis Riddick tore his ass a new one last night on the main feed. There was true secondhand embarrassment from me. Like, I was embarrassed for Daniel Jones and his family because Louis Riddick destroyed him. They've got to go in another direction. There's no way. There's no way. And if you have Daniel Jones in any dynasty league, I would urge you to take whatever you can get for him. I don't care if it's super flex. I don't care if you can only get a second-round pick for Daniel Jones, I would urge you to do that immediately. As soon as you can. I want nothing to do with Daniel Jones on a he is bad. And that interception he threw to the D tackle, oh my God. I mean, he just threw it right there. He just threw it right to him. And then he goes to the sideline and he looks like a nice guy. Like, he looks like a good dude, man. You look at him and you're like, man.
He's doing his best out there.
Yes, you just look at him and you're like, he's doing his best, man. It's Daniel fucking Jones. Like, he's doing his best. He can't play any better. And you're looking at him and he looks like a nice guy. He looks like the guy, you walk into Enterprise and he's ready to help you out, get you a He's the kind of guy that's going to upgrade your, you ask for an economy because you're cheap as hell and you don't want to pay for a lot of gas, and he upgrades you to the nicer model for the same price. And you're like, I really didn't want that one because I don't want to pay as much gas, but I appreciate you looking out for me. Give me a better car. Like, he's that guy, man. He's the guy that you walk into the bank and he's there to greet you. Like, he's that guy. He's not the guy that's going to galvanize a football team to go win a Super Bowl. I'm just looking at him like, this kid stands no chance. He stands no chance, and he's doing, like, maybe if he was in, like, New York, maybe if he was in Jacksonville or Denver, maybe he can get a pass for a shitty play, but he's in New York. Yeah. I want to see what the New York paper says about that game. He's got to go. They've got to clean house. Gettleman, Daniel Jones, Jason Garrett, Joe Judge, like, they need to scrap it. That team and Daniel Jones, he's one of the worst starting young quarterbacks in the NFL. There's some bad QBs in the league. Jared Goff, Daniel Jones. There's some bad quarterbacks. Sam Darnold in the NFL right now. The fact that Joe Flacco is still playing and balling, Daniel Jones is god-awful. There is no hope. I am sorry. He's a good dude. He need not ever take another snap for an NFL franchise, and we know that's not going to happen. He's going to finish out the season. But after this season, he need not ever take another snap underneath center in the NFL as a starting franchise quarterback. He is not good. All right. Well,
do you want the headline on the post?
What's the headline?
Judge and Fury. Without naming names, Joe puts Garrett in the line of fire after latest debacle.
I'm not shocked. Honestly, I'm not shocked. He's that bad, man. He's that bad. We got to talk about the games this weekend. So let's get off of this pathetic display of football and beat the rush.
Wake up! This is Beat the Rush.
Get out of the way, jackass!
All right, the marquee matchup this weekend in college football, in my opinion, are the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Michigan Wolverines. And Ohio State is favored by 8 in this one. So we've got a slightly less blowout scheduled to happen. It was like 20.5 versus Michigan State. So they're going to beat another Michigan team, but this time it's not going to be by, 50,000 points. Michigan, you get them plus 249 on the money line with an over-under 63.5. Ohio State has won 15 of the last 17 meetings versus Michigan, right? Like, they hired Jim Harbaugh to beat Ohio State, and he has not done it. Not done it. But Michigan does have a very good defense. They're ninth in the country, ninth best defense in the country, only allowing 306 yards per game, and they've only given up 21 touchdowns. The Ohio State Buckeyes have not been so stout. They have ranked 44th in the country, and they're allowing 354 yards per game. However, that offense is the best in the country in all of these categories. Total yards, yards per play, damn near 8 yards per play is insane. 61 offensive touchdowns, and they're averaging 560 yards per game. Something's got to give. Something's got to give in this one. It's what's the thing? The movable force meets the movable object, whatever it is. The force meets I don't know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Michigan, listen, not only are they good defensively, but they have a very good offense. They're top 25 in the country in yards per game, averaging 447. So there we go. We've got Michigan good on both sides of the ball. Ohio State great on the offensive side of the ball. Not as good on the defensive side of the ball, but not horrible either. They're not in the bottom half in the country. This game is going to come down to can Michigan control the clock and slow down the Ohio State offense? Can they make life difficult for C.J. Stroud? Make him make some mistakes? Right now, we talked about it yesterday. C.J. Stroud is the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy after being the head being put on a stake and ready to be replaced early in the season. He is now the favorite to win the award. We talked about the game script and narrative. I think he will. I do think Ohio State wins this game. I think they cover, and I do think C.J. Stroud cements his Heisman Trophy legacy. I think he's going to win it. Another Heisman Trophy for an Ohio State Buckeye. It's going to be because of this game. This is going to be a signature moment. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think he's going to have to face some adversity in this one because Michigan's defense with Aiden Hutchinson and the other guy, Obi-Jobi, whatever his name is, Ojobi, number 55. Daxton Hill in the secondary is probably going to be a first-round pick at safety. Michigan's legit. Defensively, they're really good, and I think they found a gem last week, and we all know Donovan Edwards, the highly touted 4 or 5-star prospect, depending on which recruiting service you look at, really showed up in the pass-catching game last week. 10 receptions, 170 yards. They've got Hassan Haskins. I don't know if Blake Corum is playing. I know he was a little banged up. But listen, offensively, they're no slouch. This is probably the best Michigan team that Jim Harbaugh's ever had. Shout out to you, Jim. We slammed you a lot early in the season, but you've come to play. Your teams have come to play. Again, it's gonna be can Michigan slow down Ohio State? And the crazy thing is, it's not just those wide receivers. You got to deal with that beast Henderson out of the backfield, which is going to be really tough. So, Jay, how do you think the game script in this one is going to go? What's the story, and who do you think is going to win this one?
I mean, I got Ohio State winning. I think they still cover. But I do think this is going to be a more conservative game plan from Ohio State. This is going to be the most hostile environment that C.J. Stroud has ever played in, period. It's not going to be even close. And you look kind of the way he looked against Minnesota, and I can't think of any other game really. Like, the Oregon game was at home, right? Yeah. Any other big-time game they played, I guess the Purdue game, but the Purdue game was at home as well, wasn't it? So yeah, he hasn't really been tested from a mental perspective dealing with the crowd. This game's in Ann Arbor. For people who don't know, shout out to my boy Stone. I've actually been to Ann Arbor, and it is crazy. They call it the Big House for a reason. It seats, I think, 116,000 people.
I think it's the largest football stadium. It's either that or the stadium in Tennessee. I'm not sure which one, but I know it's one of the largest.
At one point, it was the largest outdoor stadium in America, and I think even in the world for as far as its capacity. But yeah, it is huge, and it's going to be rocking. And that's my fear with CJ Stroud. As confident he's been playing, we saw him be timid, and be kind of, the moment was a little bit big. It was his first game, but maybe it was also the crowd. Maybe it was not being able to hear the line of, at the line of scrimmage, control the clock, all those things. Like, we know how difficult quarterback is to play on the road, and it's because of all these other factors, like the crowd, like the noise. He's not going to be able to talk to any of his receivers. They're going to need hand signals. They're going to need quick counts. They're going to need silent counts. And I don't know how much they've practiced it, and I don't know if it was more nerves in the first game or if it was the environment. But we're going to find out in Ann Arbor, and I think that's where I hope Ohio State leans on the running game, because they don't just have Trayvon Henderson. They have Williams as well. They have other guys they can bring in. They can even use some of those wide receivers in the quick passing game, so they don't have to be bombing it down the field all day long. I think it's a more conservative game plan, and more importantly, they need to protect that defense. That defense is not very good. They played pretty well against Michigan State, but they're going to allow points to Michigan. And so if you just keep trying to score over and over and over, you're not doing your defense any favors, because Michigan's going to try and control the clock. They're going to try and move the ball down the field, and they're going to be playing a lot of plays on defense. If you go 175-yard bomb to Garrett Wilson, come back later, 3 plays to Garrett Wilson, Olave, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, all of a sudden they're on defense again, they're going to get tired by the fourth quarter, and Michigan's defense is going to be just chilling because they're hardly playing. They're allowing points, but they're hardly playing. So I think they have to really control the clock, and that's why I like the under in this game. I think 63.5 is a little bit too much, and I would be taking the under, but I do think Ohio State can cover in a game that's maybe like 30-20. It could still get up to 50 points, but 63.5 is a lot for this game, in my opinion.
Man, there are a lot of narratives in this game. I'm telling you. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, there's some people who say he's better than Kevon Thibodeau, so this is a big showing for him. I know he wants to have a good game. Bruning said something about pass rush could cause issues for this offense. We saw it with Oregon and Tulsa. They lost their right tackle last week. So, and Hutchinson plays primarily on the left side of that defensive line. They can move him around, but he's going to be an issue. I think they can. If I were Michigan, I'd exploit it. If I were Ohio State, I'd exploit those defensive ends. When you want to rush up the field, try to get to the quarterback really quickly, I would screen the hell out of him. If they do that, I'd leak TreVeyon Henderson out, and I'd screen the hell out of him, and that's a problem. He is a dynamic weapon in the receiving game. This is going to be, honestly, outside of like the national championship being Georgia, Ohio State, I think this could be one of the game of the year. Both teams are really good. Like, say what you want about Michigan of the past, I still don't believe in them enough to win this matchup, but this is a good football team. Jim Harbaugh finally has put together a good football team. I don't trust the quarterback in big moments yet. I just don't. And I think C.J. Stroud is a quarterback that I trust more to make the big play. But if Michigan relies on the ground game, get Donovan Edwards involved, get Hassan Haskins the ball, let him bang it in the middle, right? And they control them defensively, cause pressure for C.J. Stroud, I think they've got a good shot to pull the upset. I think this is going to be a very, very, very good game. It's early in the day because later on that night, we've got the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl. And I know Alabama is favored by 19.5. I know that they should win this game. Bryce Young is coming off of a damn 600-yard passing performance. But anything can happen in an Iron Bowl. We've seen it so many times. A couple of years ago, I think it was the year Mac Jones actually took over for Tua 2 years ago, 2019. I believe Auburn beat Alabama in that Iron Bowl. And
They did.
I know Mac Jones threw like a pick six, like deep inside of Auburn's territory, and they ran it back like 100 yards. But we saw the kick return for a touchdown like 10 years ago. Like anything can happen in the Iron Bowl. I think this is a little different. I think Auburn is this isn't the same Auburn team. Bryce Young is going to have to win this game by a lot. You have it in the show sheet, right? And Auburn won the last 2 Iron Bowls in Auburn. Bryce Young is going to need to throw the ball crazy and win this game by 60 to have a shot at the Heisman Trophy, I believe. Bo Nix has won an Iron Bowl before, but suffered an ankle injury last week, and that's why TJ Finley was starting in his place, and he's going to be starting in this one as well. Biggest game of TJ Finley's career, the LSU transfer, and there's also a new coaching staff. So I don't know, man. This game is in Auburn, correct? This game is in Auburn? Yeah. It is.
So that's what I'm fearful of, right? You not only have TJ Finley, who's an inexperienced quarterback, like as bad as people think Bo Nix is, he still won an Iron Bowl. That's no slouch to him. And it's funny because he was talking a lot of shit about Alabama this week on a podcast. Bo Nix.
Really?
So Bo Nix is not playing,
right?
But he said in an interview that Alabama gets preferential treatment from SEC officials, and then when asked if he wanted to clarify his statement, he said, legitimately, I think you can watch the game and anybody unbiased would think something is different when Alabama plays. And so he called out Alabama multiple times in an interview, basically saying that they get preferential treatment, they get all these calls. And again, this is in reference to the game against Arkansas, where there was a lot of controversial calls in that game. Obviously, Alabama ended up winning, but it was a lot closer than it probably should have been as far as Alabama is concerned. This spread to me is a little bit too big, and I just don't think they can beat Auburn by three TDs.
It's 3 TDs.
But again, it's the coaching staff that scares me the most, right? They came over from Boise, but it's not Gus Malzahn anymore, like a guy who's very experienced in the SEC and playing Alabama. That to me matters. Like, this dude has walked into Auburn. He's played pretty well. He's coached pretty well, but he's never played Alabama. So he doesn't really know what it's like. Yes, he'll be playing at home. And that's where I think Bryce Young is going to struggle. We just talked about C.J. Stroud playing in Ann Arbor. Bryce Young in Death Valley is going to be a bit of a problem. He's used to some hostile environments. It's going to be a little different this week. They're heavy favorites, but I just don't think they can win by 20 points. Like, I just don't see that happening. I think Nick Saban's going to do the right thing, give the ball to Brian Robinson, his very experienced running back, over and over and over and over, the way he's done it before with Derrick Henry. Not to say that he's Derrick Henry, but they want to control the ball. They want to work things slowly. They're not going to be bombing it crazy against Auburn. I just don't see that happening unless they have to, right? I think that Nick Saban's going to do the smart thing.
But I think they are going to have
to. In Death Valley.
I don't know how effective they're going to be on the ground with Brian Robinson. I'm not the biggest B-Rob fan. He's played a lot better this year, to his credit. He's played a hell of a lot better. But I look at him and I'm just like, he's just a guy at the next level, right? He's Zach Moss. He's just a guy in college, in my opinion. He's just big as hell. He's been there for 6 years. Not the biggest Brian Robinson fan. I think they are going to have to throw it. This is a different Alabama team. They're not going to be able to hand the ball to Brian Robinson 35 times and win this matchup. They're going to have to take their shots. They've got one of the best wide receivers in college football in Jameson Williams. They've got good tight ends. I think they are going to have to throw the ball, and they need to get it going because it's already cemented. They're playing Georgia in the SEC title game, so they need to come out looking sharp in this matchup. You said you went to Ann Arbor, so you've been to an actual game in the Big House?
Yeah. Yeah. I forget who they play. This is like, man, when I was in like grade 8, so
yeah. I just was gonna say
years ago.
I've been to numerous college football games and numerous NFL games. The crowd noise inside college stadiums are 10 times louder than that of an NFL stadium. I mean, the loudest, most insane game that I've ever went to, it was Florida versus LSU in Baton Rouge, I think in 2007, 2008. It was during the Tim Tebow years. Frat Brothers played at LSU, so we went to the game in Death Valley in Baton Rouge. And I'm not kidding you. We could be sitting right next to each other. You could not talk to the person next to you. It was so loud. Like the stadium was, you would go down like to the concession stand or to the restroom and it's shaking. Like you've got like crazy college students. Then you've got like the band there. I don't know how they hear on the field. It's just insane, man. Like that level of noise, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. I guess adults are a little more reserved and they don't act too wild, and you don't go to the NFL stadium. Like, it's just different, man. But yeah, it's gonna be 2 tough road games for 2 of the 2 leaders for the Heisman Trophy. Who plays better in this one? Does Bryce Young go out there and absolutely shred Auburn while C.J. Stroud struggles, or does Stroud go out there and look as sharp as he's ever been and solidify this Heisman Trophy? This is going to be a fun one. Lindsay said, I learned this year that college stadiums, or at least Ohio State, are much bigger than NFL stadiums. A lot of them are. I'm at Knoxville. I think it's Neyland Stadium. Bigger. I think that seats 100,000. Penn State is huge. Ohio State. These college stadiums are massive. Massive, massive, massive. I mean, you've got to accommodate all the kids in the college campuses. I mean, for Christ's sake, Jacksonville's Deion Sanders School, Jackson State versus Prairie View, SWAC championship, they're projecting 60,000 in the stadium for 2 HBCU teams. And for those of y'all who aren't familiar, you don't get 10, 20, 30,000 people at black college football games. So to get 60,000 at a college football game for 2 historically black colleges and universities is insane. And 60,000 inside Ohio State would look like the stadium's half empty. I mean, literally, it's half empty at 60,000. So they're massive. These stadiums are massive, especially Big Ten. The SEC, the way they build them, it's real compact. Like in the swamp in Florida, the fans are like right there on the field, literally right there on the field. And it's like that at LSU as well. So, yeah, Lindsay, it's crazy. It's crazy. But do we have to talk about this? We do. I'm still not over it. We asked the question. Dallas, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they're playing good football right now. And it's crazy that we only have, 2, 4, 6, 7 games left in the NFL regular season. And here's the remaining schedule. And we've got to ask the question, can the Eagles win the NFC East? And let me just lay down the gauntlet for the next couple of games for Dallas, all right? So this Thursday in 2 days, they play the Raiders at home. And it looks like we get Tyron Smith back, we think, or a shell of himself. Zeke was limited in practice with a knee injury, but good grief. The fact that you had to let me just take this graphic off. The fact that you put Nahshon Wright on here just lets me know how bad this defense is. Nahshon Wright logged a full practice. Okay, thank you, Jordan. But the Cowboys have the Raiders. Then they play at New Orleans, at Washington, home against New York, and then home against Washington, New York Giants, then the Washington football team again, Arizona, and then at Philly to end the season. All right, so that's Dallas's remaining schedule. The Eagles, they've got the Giants in New York. They've got the Jets in New York. Then they're on a bye. Then they go Washington, Giants, Washington, and they end with the Cowboys. We should be good. I think we should be good. I'm concerned this Thursday. The Saints at New Orleans, we should, but slightly concerned. At Washington, again, we should, but a little bit concerned. We will beat the Giants. We will at least split with the football team. Week 17, Kyler Murray back in his home state of Texas, right down the road from where he played high school football. This game is going to be crazy. You're going to see a lot of Kyler Murray fans at this game for the Dallas Cowboys and then at Philly. Do you think there's a shot Philly pulls this off? I mean, because they probably legitimately need to win every game besides Week 18. Like, if they can, they need to win 1, 2, 3, 4. They need to win 5 of their of these next 6 games. They have to in order to put them in position to win the East. Do you think it's a real possibility? Can Philly go on a 5, 6, 7 game win streak to finish the season before they play Dallas? And that Dallas matchup could be for the NFC title.
I honestly do. The big thing with Philly is they're just playing such good football right now. They ran the ball over 50 times last week, which is it's unheard of. You just don't see that in the NFL.
Yeah.
But to your point about Dallas, they have to win this game against Vegas on Thursday or the game against New Orleans. I think if they win one of those 2 games, they're going to be in good shape. But again, that Raiders game is this Thursday. That Saints game is also on Thursday. So they don't get the 10 days rest that they're hoping to get everyone back. So one of those 2 games they have to win. I'm not sure where you're at, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. I think they're going to lose to the Raiders. I just think the Raiders are a more healthy team. I don't think they have enough guys right now.
You think we lose to the Raiders?
I think they do. I think it's a 50-50 shot they lose to the Raiders. I really do, because I just don't think they have enough guys right now. Then you go into New Orleans, hostile environment. Dak's not playing well on the road. That defense is swirling around. We'll see. But they should have Amari Cooper back. They should have CeeDee Lamb back. That obviously is a massive addition to the offense. The football team, I'm curious. Both Dallas and Philly have to play the football team twice, but they're playing pretty well.
They played well.
Do I think that Philly has a better shot of being the football team twice than Dallas? I would say no. I think potentially they both could split. But to your point, Philly's 2.5 games back right now. So they have to win the 5 or they have to beat Dallas. Again, they've got
to win 5. I think Philly's got to go on a win streak. If they want to, and it's crazy because right now, depending on what book you're looking at, I know Evan said plus 750, but you saw plus 975 to win the division for Philly and plus 310 to make the playoffs. I think that's actually pretty nice.
Again, you have the Giants twice. You have the football team twice. You have the Jets, who are a free win. And it is important to mention they do have the bye week. Like that is a factor. Having a late bye, like they're going on this win streak. They have the bye week 14. Then they come back and play Washington at home. And they have the Giants at home again. So think about, from that standpoint, you're in New York for 2 games. You play both those teams. You're probably going to win both games. Then you go into the bye. After the bye week against the Jets, you have 2 games at home against the football team and the Giants. Then you got to go to Washington. Then you come back home. So 3 of the last 4 at home. Cowboys also have 3 of the last 4 at home. We'll see. But the Cowboys' schedule is much tougher. And like you mentioned, Kyler Murray coming home is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Everyone's already talking about it. Here, people are jacked up to go see Kyler Murray play. The fact that, and I said this 2 weeks ago, Dallas, they're playing 4 games in 18 days. That's crazy. Or it was 3 games in 18 days, or it was 4 games in 18 days. We got screwed. I mean, the fact that we just played, Sunday, then we got the Thursday game, then we turn around and play next Thursday, and then we turn around and play the following Sunday. We'll have rest because of the Thursday game, but CeeDee Lamb, I know it says on the show sheet that he's unlikely to play. I saw yesterday that he may play. I don't know how they're going to get around concussion protocol with that one, but, no Amari Cooper, no CeeDee Lamb. I don't think we win versus the Raiders, man. That's not good. Tyron Smith, Max Crosby is a problem for the Raiders. Max Crosby is a problem, and he is going to wreak havoc on Terrence Steele if he's sitting there at left tackle. It's not going to be pretty. I'm a little concerned because we're banged up at all the wrong places right now. We're banged up at pass rusher. It's going to be a lot of Micah Parsons carrying this defense. Philly's playing good, man. Philly's playing good. They should have another 2 wins, so they're 5-6, 6-6, 7-6 going into bye, 8, 9, 10. They need 10 wins, man, and then I think they'll have to beat Dallas at the end. It's an interesting conversation, man, but right now, Philly's playing great, and I didn't get to ask you yesterday, where are you at with Jalen Hurts? I know we've asked this question, every 3-4 weeks. Where are you at with Jalen Hurts long term? Because I said yesterday, I do not believe there is a quarterback in the 2022 class that's definitively better than Jalen Hurts. I would take Matt Corral over Jalen Hurts. You give me the opportunity, I would take Matt Corral over Jalen Hurts. But I don't think Malik Willis is better. I don't believe Sam Howell is better. Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong, none of those guys are better than Jalen Hurts. The only quarterback that I would say, hell yeah, go all in for would be Deshaun Watson. But is Deshaun Watson, yes, he's that much better than Jalen Hurts. I think we're not going to debate that. But is he that much better than Jalen Hurts and 3 first-round picks that are going to be top 15, 2 of them probably top 10? I don't think so. I don't think he's that much better. I don't think Deshaun Watson is better than that package. That's what I'm saying. 100%. I don't think so.
100%. I completely agree with you. And I think where Jalen Hurts, I don't want to say bought himself some time, but that's certainly how it feels, is that you can't justify trading up for a quarterback now. You take Jalen Hurts and you build around him. You have 3 first-round picks, high first-round picks at that. You need to build around Jalen Hurts because he showed you he's done enough to get it done. And I think I have to give Nick Sirianni a little bit of credit here.
Yeah.
Because he, at the beginning of the season, was not looking good. But he realized, or I don't know how the hell it clicked for him finally, but they can run the ball 30, 40, 50 times and win football games. And surprisingly, put up a ton of points doing it. It's not usually a way that you see teams put up 30, 40 points. But it's working pretty good for Philadelphia right now. They need to add some more weapons. Like you mentioned, Quez Watkins isn't the best. Jalen Reagor not doing the best right now. They do have Devontae Smith. They have Dallas Goedert locked up, which is important. But they probably need another guy that they could potentially get in the draft. But we know they're going to go after the secondary because they need it, even with Darius Slay playing super well. And they need some offensive line help. But outside of that, I think they have a lot of the pieces that they need. I think it just kind of depends on what they do with Miles Sanders because I think Miles Sanders is going into his final year next year.
I don't think they're going to pick up his was he?
He doesn't even have an option. He doesn't even have an option. Second round pick. But it's, do you re-sign him on a cheaper deal? Maybe. Who knows? It's hard to say. I doubt it though. But that point, then you have Jalen Hurts plus who? Is it Jordan Howard still at like 33 years old?
I tweeted last night. There's an article on ESPN, and it's talking about Saquon Barkley and should the Giants pay Saquon Barkley big money? Yeah. And they always interview anonymous NFL executives. And basically what they were saying is honestly, as great as he is, running backs in the NFL are truly a dime a dozen. They were like, why pay him when Devontae Booker has been just as effective as Saquon Barkley? Maybe he doesn't have the home run speed, the home run ability, but basically it was talking about all these NFL teams saying that they don't, like, running back is the most meaningless position. Now, you say that, and Tennessee's look horrible without Derrick Henry. You look at how good, but look at Dallas. Zeke Elliott got paid $90 million, richest contract at that time in NFL history for a running back, and Tony Pollard looks better 2 years later. It's just a position that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it really does not matter. So why pay Miles Sanders when you can pull Jordan Howard off the street and he's giving you 60, 70 yards? Like, you just build. If I'm an NFL team, an executive, a GM, I'm building every other piece of my team and worrying about running back absolute last. Like, you literally can find guys off the street to come in to run the football for you. I think Philly's in a prime spot to be a really good team for a very long time. And I agree, Stone, and I meant to say this. If the Eagles win the division, Mike McCarthy should lose his job. If the Eagles win the division, Mike McCarthy should be fired, and no, Kellen Moore should not be promoted to head coach. They should get rid of the entire staff. I love Kellen Moore, the play caller. Maybe we could keep Kellen Moore. I like Kellen Moore, but Mike McCarthy should go. If they lose this one, Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones needs to pull the plug. We know that won't happen, but that would be a catastrophic failure that I would not hear the end of if Dallas does not win this. But I think it's a real possibility with the way Philly's playing, and I agree, build around Jalen Hurts. Unless Matt Corral is sitting in your face, and even then, there's a lot of people who are still kind of on the fence with him. You build around Jalen Hurts, and at least for 2022. And then if it doesn't work in 2022, right now, the 2023 quarterback class is still a little shaky. You got Stroud and Young, but maybe you look for a free agent quarterback after that, or you try to go in a different direction. I think plus 300, plus 310 for Philly to make the playoffs. Go lay $50 on that. I mean, go lay half a unit, $50, $25. I think they are going to make the playoffs in the NFC. I like what they're doing, and they're doing it in a physical way, which is pounding the ball, and they're doing a good job at it and funneling all their target consolidation to Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith, both playing very, very, very well. But I recommend people read that article. Maybe it'll help us make some decisions in Dynasty. Like, I'm getting to the point, Jay, where I'm just like, even Saquon Barkley, I got him, and I'm thinking, like, how much longer am I going to hold Saquon Barkley before I need to unload for a king's ransom? So, just interesting thought piece about how these NFL executives value the running back position. And before we get out of here, let's talk about the Super Bowl odds real quick. So right now at the top, Tampa Bay plus 600. Are these Super Bowl champions or just to make the game?
No, this is Super Bowl champion.
Oh, I don't know about Buffalo, man. They need, speaking of a luxury, they need a luxury running back. Go get Melvin Gordon. Go trade for Melvin. Go find somebody because they have no running game whatsoever. It's like Josh Allen or bust. I mean, Buffalo's 6-4, and now they're 7th in the AFC. You know, they're talking about Josh Allen being the NFL MVP. Who's the odds favorite for NFL MVP right now? It's got to be Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady at like plus 250.
Wow, Brady. And who's next? Like Aaron Rodgers?
1 second.
Josh
Allen at 600. Oh, sorry. Tom Brady is at 300. Josh Allen 600. Stafford 10-1. Rodgers 10-1. Prescott 10-1. Kyler 12-1. Herbert 12-1. Mahomes 12-1.
Jay, I've been on it since the beginning of the season. Tom Brady's going to win the NFL MVP. He's going to win it, y'all. He's going to win it. The story I saw last night, he went over 3,000 yards already. He leads the NFL in yards, leads the NFL in touchdowns. He's going to win NFL MVP at age 44. The story writes itself. Super Bowl champ coming off of a Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady, the oldest NFL MVP in NFL history. The story writes itself. Brady's going to win the MVP. I think Tampa Bay, I told you to not have me put Dallas atop the NFC. And the week that I do it, they go get embarrassed. They're not the best team in the NFC, man. I think right now I would take Tampa Bay. I still have more faith in the Rams and Arizona. I think Dallas is the fourth or fifth best team in the NFC right now, and I will not be laying any money. I'm telling you, I pride myself on being the most objective Cowboys fan there is. They're not. They're not. Lindsey said he's been in the NFL since I was 6 years old. It's mind-blowing. I don't think any of us would even stay at a job for 22 years where we're not getting hit and beat up and punished, let alone one of the most brutal sports there is. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's going to win NFL MVP. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl? Do you want to call it right now, or is it still just Russian roulette at Super Bowl?
I don't know, man. Like you said, Tampa Bay 6-1, Kansas City 7.5-1, Buffalo 8-1, which I hate that number. It's terrible. For everyone who's trying to bet at home, I think you bet on the AFC right now. You have Baltimore 14-1, Patriots 14-1, Tennessee 18-1, Chargers 20-1. All those teams have a shot to win the AFC, in my opinion. And that's why I'd be betting on the AFC right now. Because the NFC, it's murderer's row. Tampa Bay, the Rams, Cardinals, Cowboys, Packers, all have a shot to win the NFC and are all 10-1 or worse odds. And you have all these teams in the AFC that are 14-1 or better. I think the NFC, whoever comes out of the NFC, is going to be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. But if you can get a long shot bet on an AFC team that can make the Super Bowl, anything can happen, in my opinion. This year, we've seen some crazy stuff. And if Tennessee somehow rallied around Mike Vrabel and won the Super Bowl, I would be shocked. But it's probably not going to happen.
Frauds.
But again, if Mac Jones take the Patriots to the Super Bowl, would you be shocked? No. Would you be shocked? Again, that defense is that good.
I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted to find where's that damn graphic? I just want to know what the odds are for New England to make the Super Bowl. I don't think that is. I think it's a realistic possibility. The way the defense is playing.
Okay, so to win the AFC, it's 6-1. They have the fourth best odds in the AFC. 6-1, tied with the Ravens. I don't think it's. I don't think it's crazy. The defense is that good. And it's getting better.
I'm just gonna say this. It's setting up very much like Tom Brady's rookie season where he was just asked to manage. Like, let's not get it twisted. Tom Brady early in his career was the ultimate game manager, right? The ultimate game manager. It wasn't until 2012, 2007, 2008 when he started to bomb away when they got Randy Moss and Wes Welker and those guys. Crazier things have happened. I honestly think there's a realistic possibility that the New England Patriots, led by one rookie, McCorkle Jones, Mac Daddy Jones, makes the Super Bowl this year. I'm not ready to predict it yet, Jay, but just keep it on the radar, man. Hey, if they make the Super Bowl, y'all might as well mute me because I will be insufferable. And yes, I am petty enough that I have all those shit-talking screenshots saved from everybody who doubted me, everybody who put me down and called me out for my ranking of Mac Jones in the pre-draft process. I'm coming for that ass. But I appreciate y'all tapping in. Make sure you subscribe to the show, YouTube channel. Check out besttv.com. And we will be back. We will be back tomorrow to lead you into your Thanksgiving. Again, last show of the week is tomorrow, so make sure you wake up. Make sure you tap in, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. We out. Peace.